In today's video, we are wrapping up the third part in our three-part series, which is the highlight video. So if that's something that interests you, stick around. And without further ado, we're just going to roll the intro and jump right in. So, like I said in the intro, in today's video, we are touching on part 3, which is the highlight video. This is going to be slightly different because I don't want to use anyone's personal video, obviously without their permission. So what I'm going to be doing is just going over what I look for when I do watch a highlight video, and I'll be sharing my kind of guide as if I am watching a video with you guys. So what I have written down here are 5 checklists that you guys can write down yourself or take a screenshot if you want to. If you are creating a highlight video, what are some topics and things that you should include before you put together a video and send it to a coach, just so you have the best opportunity to have a good shot at getting recruited. So the 5 categories that I've written down, they're going to be kind of in an order with the way I'm going to talk about them. So the first one, we have the structure of the video, the length of the video, what to include, what not to include, and then capping off with what we look for as coaches. And again, what we look for as coaches is down to personal preference. This is all about what I look for when I watch a highlight video. This is not a one-size-fits-all for all coaches. Everybody looks at something different. Everybody wants to see something different. So again, this is just what I look for, and keep that in mind when you are using this. So when we're looking at the structure of the video, there are a few things that you can take into consideration when building the highlight video. So the highlight video should encompass the best of what you have to offer. A rule of thumb for structuring a highlight video is down to the best of you. Another one is the software that you use. This kind of is a two-parter. So when you're using software, it's always best to just keep it simple and straightforward. Okay, there's no need to have any kind of special effects or special transitions. Coaches are very simple. We want to just get straight to the point. So going from one clip to another clip is perfectly fine, just having no fancy transition. So keep that in mind when you're using particular software, because if you are a sophomore or a junior, then being able to edit that footage that you already have, you just want to make it the easiest as possible for you so you can get your video out as quick as possible. Another thing that is included in the software aspect is identify. And what I mean by identify is identifying your position on the field and your number. Okay, so my suggestion would be this: every clip that you have, pause the first frame, put a circle around your number or wherever you are in the field, and then play the rest of the clip, and then move on. And the last one, which I think is a big, which is something that a lot of people don't consider, and sometimes it's not in your control, but if you have the ability to control this aspect, I would highly recommend putting some effort into it, and that is the camera setup. The camera setup includes the audio, the stability, the view, and the tracking of the player or the play. So the first one is audio. Always be sure to mute audio of external audio or clips, because it just takes away value from the video. So audio, always make sure it's muted, and the actual sound clip has no audio. Always put music overlay. Okay. Second one is the stability. Make sure, to the best of your ability, if you have control over this, again, that the camera is stable. It's not shaky, it's not handheld, it's very hard on the eye, even if it is a short clip. The next one is following. So what I mean by following is just tracking the play, or you in particular. If you have the opportunity, talk with your coach about getting someone that knows how to work the camera. If you don't have that, and if you want to use your own personal camera, just get someone that you can explain how you want the video filmed, which I think is very important. Okay, making sure that you can touch on some points just so you can get the best possible videos for your highlight video. The next one is the length of the video. This is a very highly debated topic about how long highlight videos should be, because it gets to a certain point. If the coach wants to see more, then we can always reach out and ask for the entire game film so we can see the entire game, or ask for more game films. So the length of the highlight video is kind of up in the air in debate. Again, this all comes down to personal preference and what that coach's opinion is. For me personally, I was kind of trained to pick up within the first 5 minutes to get a good idea of what kind of player you are and how you're going to fit our system. So within the first 5 minutes, I can tell, what my answer is going to be. And if I want to see more, then I'm obviously just going to reach out to you or reach out to your coach. So the length of the video, your best bet is 5-6 minute quality video is probably sufficient to give a coach a good idea of where you are as a player. Next part of the highlight video is what not to include. Again, all of this is personal preference. This is just what I've seen from highlight videos and then what my recommendation would be to players if they are making their highlight video. The next part is what not to include in a highlight video. Again, this is all personal preference, but these are my 5 that I have that you should not include in a highlight video. The first one would be celebrations. It's just weird watching celebrations because, yeah, sure, you scored, that's great. Okay, did you give the assist and they scored the goal? Stop the video. We don't need to see you celebrating or turning to the stands or doing that kind of stuff. The next one is replays. Don't have to put replays in the highlight video because we can go back 10 or 15 seconds to rewatch it over and over. I've watched so many particular scenes because I'm looking for something in particular and I just keep replaying that same clip. Okay, so don't put replays in there. The next one, don't put nutmegs or megs or cookies or whatever you call them getting through the person's legs. It's just showboating, and sometimes that can work against you. That's my only reason not to put that in there, is because I think it could be a turnoff for a certain coach. It could show that you hog the ball, you're always looking to humiliate the opponent as opposed to just getting the play up quicker. In a highlight video, that's not really necessary because I can make you think I could. But I'm not going to include that in a highlight video because that doesn't necessarily show my best abilities, okay? Next one would be unnecessary skills that put you in a tough situation. And the reason I say this is regardless if you get out of that tough situation, what the coach is focusing on is if you receive the ball, did you have a quicker play? Or did you hold on to the ball and then the defender approached you and now you're trying to do some kind of move to get out and then that draws another defender and now you have 2, now it's a 2-on-1, but then you manage to escape. But what we're looking for is that initial part of it where you receive the ball and then did you have a quicker play if you were a little bit faster. So it's the beginning part of that is what we're looking for, not necessarily your ability to escape. So the last one that I would recommend not putting in your video would be plays that don't involve you. My example would be, and this I've seen this way too many times, is a kid playing a diagonal ball and then the camera panning to that other kid that received the ball doing some kind of move that led to them crossing the ball and someone else scoring. Not the kid we're looking at. We weren't looking for that, and then like to show the celebration, so like that's an unnecessary length of stuff that we're not interested in. All we wanted to see is, can you spray a diagonal ball? Can you spray 40-50 yards to your other player to put your team in a better situation? Okay, what we're looking for is like, what did you do after you played that ball? So we don't want to see like the play that happened that you weren't involved in scoring, or you weren't necessarily involved in the finished product. The next part we're looking at is what to include in your video. So there are a few bits and pieces that I think you should include in your video. The first one, we have passes. This is your ability to connect the short ball and your long distance diagonal balls, crossfield balls, lofted and long passes. Next would be your through balls, which is a variation of a pass, obviously. Anything that shows your ability, depending on your position, to execute the fundamentals at a very consistent rate. The next one, we're looking at goals and assists. So obviously, depending on your position, whether or not you have a lot of assists or whether you create a lot of goals, or if you score a lot of goals, it definitely include those. That's really important. If you're a defender, definitely include a lot of one-on-one battles, you winning the ball, building out from the back, just understanding what your position is about and including that, especially if you are looking to play a particular position. If you're an all-around kind of player, definitely go for including a wide variety of stuff that really shows what kind of player you are. The last piece that I would recommend would be your understanding of the game. And what I mean by this is your awareness on the field. Midfield, for example. If you're in the middle, your ability to check your shoulders, scanning left and right, how your body position is when you receive the ball, Are you speeding up the play, or are you slowing it down because you're not positioning yourself right? It's the little things that coaches look for about where you are. Showing your understanding of the game, I think, is something that a lot of kids miss. They think that it's mostly just goals and assists, and coaches want to see that, sure, but we also want to see what level of player you are. So if you can include those in your video, that's a definite plus, and that will definitely bring your highlight video to a next level, because you're providing the coaches with something else that's a little different. Remember to always include the best of the best. That's the point of a highlight video, in my opinion, is the best of what you have to offer. Okay, so that brings us to the very last point, and this is what we look for. And so what I mean by we is that's our coaching staff at the university I work for, and it's what I've been trained to look for when I'm watching these highlight videos. There's about 5 things that we look for whenever we're watching these videos, and we can usually get an idea within the first couple minutes whether or not they're going to fit our program. So we have positive, negatives, intangible, the fit, and your attitude. Those 5 right there are what we look for when we're watching videos. Again, positive, negative, intangibles, the fit, and the attitude of the player. So I'm only going to touch on 2 of these that I really think are important. You have positive and negatives, which is kind of a given. Your attitude, again, kind of given. So the only other 2 I want to touch on is the intangibles and the fit. So with the intangibles, kind of what I mentioned in what you can add to your video. And that is showing your understanding of the game, your awareness of the game, showing the right body positioning in certain situations, showing good decision making. Those are intangibles that we look for, because that makes our job of coaching you so much easier in the future, and it shows that you are coachable because you already have such a good foundation. Other intangibles would be, after you play a 50, 60 yard diagonal ball, do you stop and like, man, that was a great pass? Or are you continuing and looking for the next run? Or are you looking for the next ball? What's your movement off the ball? How are you communicating with your teammates? These are some things that we can see within the first 4 minutes of any kind of clip that you include about what your reaction is and what your natural understanding of the game is. So that's intangibles, okay? Those are the things we look for. The next would be your fit. And I think this is something that kids have to take into consideration, which is why I think showing the best of your ability and having a lot of intangibles and really showing your understanding of the game is important, because coaches are looking for how you fit their program, okay? We break it up into 2 categories. We have the positives of them fitting and the negatives of them fitting. So like, if we were to bring someone onto our program, what positives are they going to bring to the program? Okay, they may be a good goal scorer, they may be able to finish the ball, they may be strong in the air, but we look at their negatives of what they're going to bring to the program. They could be the best ones from their previous team. They could be a ball hog. So what we're looking for is what kind of impact those would have on the other 59 players or 30 players or 25 players that we have on the roster. And what kind of impact would that be? Would the negative outweigh the positives, or would the positive outweigh the negative? And is this something that we're willing to sacrifice and work with in order to correct, because you have so many positives? So those are the kind of 2 things that you're juggling when you're looking at a kid about what kind of fit that they bring to your program. And that's something that I think is really important. Again, all of this is a preference based off of each coach or assistant coaches or scouts or recruiters. They're all looking at different things. Ultimately, the decision comes down to the head coach, but when we make our recommendation, all offering different opinions and our views on particular players. And with that said, that is my opinion and view on highlight videos. If you would like for me to watch your highlight video and offer any kind of corrections or any kind of advice, feel free to shoot me an email with your highlight video, or if you have a link to it on YouTube, I would be more than happy to help you guys out and offering you guys any kind of advice if you are thinking about sending that video somewhere or shooting it out to a coach. I would love to help out with you guys. That wraps up our 3-part series of the recruiting process. So I hope you guys really enjoyed the process. I enjoyed making this video. I enjoyed really thinking about what I look for when I'm looking at some players. And if you put all three parts together, hopefully that helps you guys. If you are jumping into the process of being recruited and reaching out to some of these universities and coaches, I hope this helps you guys out in any way, shape, or form. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And as every other YouTuber says on this platform, do not forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn post notifications on so you don't miss the next video. Hope you guys have a great day.